Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Cabinet Vision Guy. In today's episode, we're going to continue our series on JavaScript UCSs, and I'm going to be showing you how we can add 2D CAD to our part level and send that through to our part sheets. We're going to do this episode in two parts. In the first part, I'm going to be showing you how we can add the CAD to part level itself. And then in the second episode, I'm going to be showing you the same thing, but how we can project that CAD onto assembly level, so we can see it on assembly level and on room view here. If you haven't seen the previous episodes on creating CAD and dimensions on assembly level, I'd recommend that you go give those a watch, because they cover the basics of adding CAD, and we're not going to be covering some of the same stuff again today. Now we're going to try and add some useful CAD to our part level. So what we're going to do is, for every hole operation that we add on face work plane 1 or 2, the top side or the underside, we're going to add a text box which lists out all the different hole operations, and then we're going to include the description in there as well. We're also going to place a leader where the operation starts and also include the description and I think the diameter or depth in there too. If you're keeping up with the series, I'm going to start off by showing you what the UCS does, and then we're going to take a look at the code together. So I'm going to head down to assembly level for this, and I'm going to start off just by removing the door. And I'm going to go to plan view, and I'm going to select the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to head down to part level. I'm going to head into the cam editor, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop an operation on the front face and an operation on the back face as well. The operations that I'm going to be using are just standard holes, because that is what UCS is written for, but obviously you can include more operations if you want to. So I'm going to add one which has a diameter of 25 and a depth of 18. And then on the back face, I'm going to put a smaller hole. So I'll make this one 10mm and I'll make it 12mm deep. And from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to return out to assembly level. And we should see we've now got our two holes highlighted in pink. And I'm going to click on the top, and you'll see on the left hand side, we've got the add operations text box and add operations leader. And I'm going to enable these. And what you should see is absolutely no difference at the moment, and this is because we're on assembly level. So when we choose to add part CAD or do this.add CAD and we're working with a component, this will add it to part level. So if I go edit and I look in my front view, at this point is where we'll actually see the CAD. So you'll see we've now got a couple of different leaders for the different operations. We've got a front hole 25mm diameter, 18mm deep. And then we've got a back hole 10mm diameter, 12mm deep. And then we've got a text box which is located on the right hand side, which just lists out the operations that are found on the component. Again, I've got this currently working with hole operations, but this could include any different operation that we're going to manually add to a component. I just picked hole out because obviously it's quite simple to do and quite easy to show. I've also chosen a text box and a leader for this, but we can add all the different CAD that we can add to assembly level onto part level as well. So again, go and check out the first 4 episodes that we did on adding CAD and dimensions for assemblies, because the same principles apply to part level too. And just as a reminder, if we do want a full list of all the CAD objects that we can add in using JavaScript UCSs and the properties of the objects as well, we can head into the help file, and I've obviously got this open in the background. If we search for JavaScript CAD, we've got a topic JavaScript CAD objects, and then it gives us a full list of all the objects we can add, as well as some examples in here. It also gives us the properties of the objects as well, and some of the examples of what we can add in for that, so really useful. So back to our example job. So I'm going to return out from here just back to assembly level, and we're going to go into utilities and take a look at our UCS. And you'll see for this episode we've got add operation CAD to parts, and I'm going to head into code and we'll obviously look through from the top down. If you're watching this episode, I will have added this example UCS onto the Nexus community, so if you head across there you can grab an example of exactly what we're doing here, so you can copy it and add your own logic to it and add your own intelligence if you wish to. So at the top of the UCS, we've got a couple of functions. We've got a function brg to color ref, which we use to convert the blue, red and green values to the formatting that we need for our JavaScript UCS. We've also got the get parameter function, which we're using just down here, and this enables us to add just some of the controls on the left hand side for attributes to turn some of the CAD on and off. Again, if you're not too sure about these, have a watch of the first episodes that we've done in the series, because they cover the two functions that we've got here and how we use them. I've then got three options on the left hand side when I'm on part level. This is add text box card, add leader card, and remove card if I wish to get rid of everything. I've then got a variable part plane, and this plays more of a part when we come to project this CAD up to assembly level in the next episode. But essentially what this is just deciding the axis that we're going to place the CAD on. We've then got the color that we're setting in here, and again we're calling our function to get the color, so we've got our color ref variable. We've then got a string variable op list, and I'll make sure we've got a comment on this before I share the UCS. This is a list just to collect all the different operations that we're going to be adding to our top or underside faces of our component. And this is really just a string that we're going to keep adding to with new lines, so we can build that up for the text box. The next thing that we do is we have another variable, all holes, and we use a command this.getChildren, and then we filter by the name of the operation. If I want to, I can include additional names in here as well as wildcards. Again, if you're not too sure, have a look in the help file and search for getChildren, and it'll give you the full breakdown of what this does and how it works with a couple of examples too. Essentially what this is going to do is it's going to collect all the hole operations and place them in the all holes array for us. And then we can loop through it with our for statement, which is just down here. And within our for statement, we've got another object op, and that is equal to all holes. And then we're just using the number that we're looping through here to get the operation, and I'll just correct that. And then we've got a quick check down here to make sure it's not null. And if it's not null, we add to our op list the operation name, and for this we're using the operation description. Then we've got a new line and the operation diameter, and then we've got a new line again, and then we've got the operation depth, and then a new line at the end. And just a note, I'm also converting these into millimeters with the metric method, and I'm also rounding these up as well with math.round. So I'm doing that for the width of the operation and the depth of the operation too. The next thing that we've got in our UCS is we make a quick check to see if add leaders is true, which is our variable that's using a CV parameter up here. If it is true, we're creating a new object, which is the leader, and this is cvSystem.createObject, and we're using cvLeader to create this object. We then check if it's not null, and then what we have to do is we have to manage whether the op is going to be on the face work plane number 1 or face work plane number 2. And I have just removed some example code from these two sections here. We were initially checking the grain direction of the component, but this is not actually needed when we're placing the CAD on part level. It will be needed in episode 2 when we're placing the CAD on assembly level. So I've just removed that from here if you're wondering why this code looks a little bit different to a couple of seconds ago. So initially what we do is we check if the face work plane equals 1 for the operation, or the face work plane equals 2. And then we start off the leader by doing leader.x, and then we provide the x position of the operation. This is going to be right in the center because we're working with the whole operation. So then we provide the leader.y, and then that's the op.y. And if face work plane equals 2, which is obviously the underside of the component, we do leader.x, and then we do this.x minus the op.x. So we work from a slightly different edge if the operation is on the underside. The y positions are going to be the same, so I could actually place this outside of these two if statements and just remove that one there to again optimize the code a little bit. So all we're doing is manipulating the x position of the leader, or the initial x position, when we're working on face work plane 2. We then do leader.addNode, and we pick the initial leader.x position and do -1, and the leader.y position and -1 as well. And then we add another node, which is going to be holding our text, and this is leader.addNode again, and we just do -2 inches from this one in x and 1 inch again in y. We then set some of the properties of the leader, so we set the color, the arrow size, the text font, the line width, the line type, the dash scale because we're using a dashed line. We also set the arrow type and the text height in here as well. We also specify the text, so this is going to be op.description, because again we're inside a loop, so this is for every operation that's contained within our array. And then again we're converting this to millimeters, and we're rounding this up, so this is the op description plus the width of the operation plus the depth of the operation. We're also specifying that we want the horizontal alignment for the text to be on the right hand side and the vertical alignment to be in the middle. And then once we finish that, what we do is we do this.add CAD, we pass the part plane or the axis where we want to apply the CAD, and we pass the CAD that we want to add in as well. Now if we just scroll down slightly, you'll see that we've got another block of code down here, and this one initially checks if we've got the add text box CAD option enabled. We then create a new variable, which is going to be our text box, and we use cvSystem.createObject and then use cvTextBox. We check if it's not null to again make sure that the object has been created and we've got the licensing for it. And then we set the properties, so we do textbox.color and use our color that's set up at the top. We use textbox.setByCorner to give the text box its size, and for this we use this.dx add 5 inches to start us off, and then we use this.dy and then this.dx plus 20, so we're given the x positions here and then the y position, and then we use this.dy minus, and I've got minus 3.5 times all whole count, and this basically just increases the size if we've got more and more operations on the component. We also specify a text height, a text alignment, and we've also got the text in here, which is our op list, which is what we're building up here when we actually loop through the operations on the component. Again, we've got this.add CAD where we pass in the plane or the axis where we want to add the CAD, and then we pass in the object to be added, which is the text box. And the last option that we've got in here is if remove CAD, and if we enable this one, it does this.remove CAD and passes the plane where we've added the CAD or the axis, and then we do this.remove parameter and just remove a couple of the parameters we've got for controlling the text box and the leader up at the top. So again, let's just close this down and take a look at how this looks on part level. But as you can see, we've got a leader and a description, diameter and depth for our operations. We've also got an operation list in here. And one of the really cool, useful things about when we add CAD to part level like this is it does translate to our part sheets as well. So if we just hit return for a second and I go into reports, I'm going to send all my part sheets through that are machined through to the drawings page, and then we'll take a look at how they look through there. So if I head through to drawings now, we'll see, I'll grab our top component, but you'll see we've got an image of our top here, and we've also got our leaders included in here, as well as our list of operations too. Hopefully you found this episode useful. Feel free to give us a like, share and subscribe. We're also on Facebook, that's facebook.com/thecabinetvisionguy, and Instagram too, that's instagram.com/thecabinetvisionguy. Join me in part 2 when I show you how to place this CAD on assembly level so we can see it on room view and when we head down to the assembly as well. Cheers!